Yo guys, welcome to the NoDream podcast. We're just going to record audio and others we're going to actually put video too so you can see us, our reactions as we talk through things.
We don't want to overload your brains with our awesome looks. So
Yeah.
we're going to convert it to sound.
I'm a very cute lad.
Yeah. We know we can blind your eyes with our goodness.
Yeah, so basically what this is going to be is we're going to look at some scripture real quick and we're going to talk about other things too. But primarily, I was talking to the guys earlier. Right now I have Kobe with me. NoDream Kobe. We have NoDream Youth, which is Kyle, and then you have me, NoDream Jail. And together we're all NoDream. We're missing one or two members, but it's okay.
What if
We're
do
the core
ASMR?
We're the core members.
We're not doing an ASMR.
I hope not. Okay, good. That would suck.
It would.
So me, James, Kyle, and Kobe. I just said me. We're the three core members. Just so put that out there.
There's not.
You said me, James, and Kyle, and Kobe.
Anyway, so I was talking to everybody before this, and I was like, "Hey guys, so before we get this started, we want to make sure that we do it right. So this is just us, like our first. I guess you'd call this episode 1 or something. I don't know. But this is like us laying down the foundation for what we want to start. Because honestly, I mean, I'm feeling like right now, I feel like we can change the world, and you guys too. I mean, you guys are listening. You guys are part of us too. Dream Team, NoDream, whatever. You guys are part of it. And I want you guys to Dream Team. Yeah, I like that too.
Dream Team, NoDream.
Yeah, but I want you guys to be a part of this just as much as we are, and I want you guys to enjoy the ride just as much as we are.
Without them, there is no NoDream.
Bro.
That's fact.
So,
I think
you
you should open up with like what NoDream is and kind of our slogan, and then we'll pray.
I didn't really know what name that we wanted to call it, and I remember Kyle came up to me, and just out of nowhere, he said the name NoDream. I was like, what the world? What does that even mean? And I started to think about it. Growing up, I never really had much, so I saw myself as, someone who was nothing, and I had nothing. And I was always inspired by that verse in the Bible that talked about how we should take up our cross and follow Christ. He took on our sin and became nothing. And that always really, really inspired me. So, NoDream, we have no dreams for ourselves. We don't seek desire, fulfillment for ourselves. We live for Christ solely. So in that, we have no dream, but the one dream to praise the one King. So, that's kind of our slogan, and it's kind of catchy, and you're going to hear me say it sometimes, a lot of times, actually.
Oh,
but
man, a lot of times?
A lot of times. But it's completely true.
It is facts, though.
I want our one desire to be, not just for us, but for you guys listening. I want you guys' one desire to be to have, one dream, and that is to praise the one King, to glorify God. And I guess my rapper name, my artist name, it's going to be NoDream Jail. And jail it can stand for two things. It can stand for just encouraging others, because that's what I want to do. I want to be able to encourage you guys. Or it can stand for just entertaining one, because, really what I want to do is I want to entertain Christ. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, I want to entertain you guys. It would be pretty cool if you guys could hear it. But even if nobody listens to my music or what I have to say, God is listening, and that's the one I want to make proud. So, I guess right now we're going to be starting this out. I guess we haven't prayed yet, have we? Kobe, you want to do that?
Yeah, I'll pray.
All right, go ahead.
God, thank you for allowing us to come together and finally have our first episode. Pray that everyone who's hearing this right now, they just listen to the words that we're going to say, and that we can impact other people's lives, and that we just grow bigger just to please the one true King, our God. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
All right. So, all seriousness aside, you may not hear Kyle's voice too much because we ordered Pizza Hut.
He's challenged.
Hashtag best
Call
pizza
me
on the
fat
planet.
already. Where you started
No,
calling me fat?
because normally Kobe eats like everything in sight. Like that man, he just.
Oh, so you're calling him fat too?
Y'all know
Wow.
who Kirby
Look
is,
at-
right?
look
Like
at
the
this
pink
man.
puffball. This man just inhales food. He just inhales it, and
I had
Kobe-
some sub sandwiches earlier.
yeah, Kobe's not eating too much right now. Kyle's devouring this pizza we have in front of us.
It's hard for me not
He's
to.
already eaten half the pizza.
Bro, alright, stop calling me fat, alright?
I didn't call you fat. I just said
I
you
haven't
ate
met my calorie
I just
limit
said you
for
ate
the
half
day.
the pizza, bro. I didn't call you fat.
I haven't met my calorie limit for today.
Your calorie limit.
That's
What
your
is-
first
what
meal
number
of
is
the day?
that?
That's your first meal?
I'm not starting in the middle of the day.
But yeah. So, like I said before, we wanted to kind of set this up as to what we want to do, right? So, I mean, I don't know if you guys might be driving or exercising, but I wanted to read something from Second Timothy chapter 2, verse 20, right?
Yeah.
It says, "In a large house there are articles not only for gold and silver, but also wood and clay. Some are for special purposes and some for common use. Those who cleanse themselves from the latter will be instruments for special purposes, made holy, useful to the master, and prepared to do any good work. Flee the evil desires of youth and pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace, along with those who call on the Lord out of a pure heart. Don't do anything with foolish or stupid arguments, because you know they'll produce quarrels. And the Lord's servant must not be quarrelsome, but must be kind to everyone, able to teach, not resentful. Opponents must be gently instructed, in the hope that God will grant them repentance, leading them to the knowledge of truth, and that they will come to their senses and escape from the trap of the devil. Alright, I don't know if you guys go to church who are listening to this. I know a lot of people that I do know do go to church, and you guys are certainly listening. But what we really want to do with this is we want to reach the unchurched, because there's a lot of people, well, it's hard to say the unchurched because there's a lot of people in this day and age that do go to church.
Yeah.
But, they're not really living it, I guess. They're not really into the whole Christianity.
No more about religion than actually following Christ.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, like, if you think about it, like, church has always been a staple, especially down here in the Bible Belt, where, like, if you aren't part of the
you're
church,
a Christian. Yeah, I'm a Christian. Yeah.
like, you're almost kind of outcast to a certain way if you, like, don't go to church a little bit down here in the South. I know up north is.
Yeah, we're in Warner Robins, Georgia right now. So, yeah, small town, not that big.
Yeah.
I know up north is a little bit different, where you aren't, I guess, as scrutinized, and also you don't feel that pressure as much, especially when you grow up.
Please don't rob us. We don't want to rob them.
I know, like, a lot of people down here, they were either kind of forced by their parents to go to church, or if their parents weren't religious at all, they wouldn't go. And so it was kind of like a coin flip, whether they were in church or not in church.
Yeah. Just like you were saying, I mean, it's... If you're only going to church even to please somebody else, or, like... It's not really going to work. It's not going to develop a relationship, because, if you're only doing something because you have to, obviously you're not going to want to do it, because, we as humans seek the easiest path out. So, obviously you're not going to like it. It's about developing a relationship. I don't know how old whoever's listening to this is going to be, but verse 22 in 2 Timothy talks about, flee the evil desires of youth and pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace, along with those who call the Lord out of pure of heart, right? So, it's talking about we go and chase these things, right? Like, we're taught through social media or these rap icons or these icons to go and chase the money, the fame, the glory. And I was talking to my friend, Kobe, you're right here, literally right here.
Yeah.
I was talking to Kobe at work the other day, and he was talking about how he wanted to work more hours. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you get more money, but you can't trade that time. And we're taught to pursue money at the cost of our time that we can use to impact other people's lives. And we're taught to go and pursue all these things, when it's really talking about how we should pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace in place of those things. Kobe's playing with his broken shoe. It's totally distracting me.
Something to go back on what you touched on when it came to, like, pleasing other people by going to church.
Yeah.
Both of you know, going through Sunday school, that we learned that making our faith our own is very important.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to the whole, why are you going to church? Is it because your parents make you? Because you want to? Is it because you want to grow your relationship? Is there a girl? Is there a guy? What?
Yeah, for me, it was
like
girls. A lot of times.
Run it down to like the core of it. What is the reason you're going?
Past that. That's hard.
Yeah, and guys, just so you know, it won't always be like serious stuff like this, but we just wanted to set the tone for what this is gonna be. Because although we will joke around, we'll see a lot of our goofiness and all that. Let's change the world. Let's really do this. Like, I know a lot of people are talking about how January is already bad.
Kobe Bryant.
It's perspective, really. I mean, yes, bad things are happening.
That is true. It's all, like you were saying, it's all about the perspective.
Yeah.
What way are you looking at 2020? Are you just looking at the bad? Because I know for me, there's been a lot of good in 2020 already. I've been going to therapy lately, and it's a building process for me.
Yeah.
And, like, there are some down points of it where, like, sometimes I regress. But it's that understanding that I am regressing to progress. And, though there's been some tragedies in 2020, I think we have to look back at 2019, 2018, all the way back to 2016. There's tragedies all throughout that. It doesn't necessarily make it all a bad year, even if some of the starts weren't the best. But when you get down to it, like, even though starts aren't the best, it makes it valuable for those endings to be even better.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's so worried about all the bad that's in the world that we don't really focus on the good. Like, it's not even focusing on the good. We don't go out and make the good. like happen.
I mean, that's
like,
also because like news articles. That's what they push. They push the bad because that's
it gets views.
That's what's going to bring in views. That's what's going to bring in money. And again, that goes back to the whole thing. What are you chasing? And like
coronavirus and all that.
Yeah, Corona.
What are you
There's always
chasing?
something
And
new
like
every year.
again, that goes back to in verse 22.
Yeah,
right?
what are you chasing?
Youthful
100%.
passions.
Yeah.
And money is definitely a youthful passion, whether you're
Of
living or
course,
not. Like
yeah.
from, especially in America, from when you start growing up, what do you hear about? Money, money,
Yeah,
money,
chase the
money,
American dream.
And so
Get what you want.
everybody's going to push their narrative, whether it's good or bad. Typically bad, because that's what pulls in views. That's what pulls in ratings.
Yeah.
Because when you have that bad negativity, people want to know what that is, so that way they can avoid it as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you've heard Kyle say, you've heard Kobe say, 2020 is all on how you look at it. Like, yes, there's bad stuff, but go and create the good, and basically that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to do our smart little part. I mean, hey, you guys, if you listen to this and you're inspired, and you're like, hey, we're doing this NoDreamNation, yeah, we love you to hashtag that. But over glorifying us, I want you guys to glorify God instead. You know, tell people I'm doing this because Jesus inspired me to do this, or I'm doing this because Christ led me to do this, and his love is so overwhelming and abounding and growing inside of me that I really, really want to do this. So it's less about us. Like I said, nothing. Like No Dream symbol, logo. I'm trying to get it officialized and all that. And we have it written down, but in my logo especially, JL, the O is a 0 actually, because I want to decrease as Christ increases, and I recognize that I'm nothing, so Christ can be something, that he can be everything in me. And I hope and I pray that's for everybody here.
But I like a big thing. I feel like, especially now, like hearing all the bad stuff in 2020, I feel like a lot of hope is already lost.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing, not only as a Christian, but also as like a person in general. You don't need to lose hope. Hope is something you have to hold on to, and I think it's easier as a Christian, most definitely, because you put that reliance, faith, and hope and trust in God that he's going to carry you through regardless of how good or how bad it is, because he's always there. And I think it's a whole lot harder, say, as before you met Christ, especially a lot of us can testify to that,
yeah.
how much harder it is to hold out for things, because you're putting so much weight and so much pressure on yourself, because you're like, I can do this, I got this, I'm going to make it better. But you can do some things to make it better, that is true.
Yeah.
But there's eventually a point where you and your own works don't make it good enough.
Yeah. I have a professor. If you guys didn't know, we're all in college, 18, 19 years old, and me and Kobe have the same class, and we have this history professor. He's like one of the best I've ever been taught by, and he said this thing is, he said neither stark romanticism or harsh reality, and that's a lot of big words, so I'm going to try to break that down.
You wrote that?
Yeah, neither stark romanticism or harsh reality.
When did he say
that? You don't pay attention.
Yeah, I do.
But sure you do, Kate, sure you do. But basically what I'm saying is, our generation is kind of soft. We get affected by a lot of things emotionally that wouldn't have affected the previous generation. But also we're kind of hard. Wait, I'm getting there.
All right.
Also, we're kind of hardened and tough because, if somebody...
explain what that means?
I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But, as soon as somebody rubs us the wrong way, we pop off on them.
Well, I think...
When...
Go ahead and finish.
When really, that's not how things should be. There really has to be a balance, because, like, if you guys don't know my testimony, I'm not going to say the whole thing, but I was hurt by a lot of people, and one of them I told them hurt people, and they basically told me, hey, suck it up, you're going to get hurt in life anyway, so you might as well, boss up, get used to it. And I guess I came to a point now where I realize, yes, I'm going to get hurt, and that's partially true. I do need to be stronger, but it's also okay for me to be weak and open, because through my weaknesses and opening up to people, Christ can shine brighter through me, and he'll cover up those weaknesses, and I'll become stronger than I can ever be by myself. So, neither stark romanticism or harsh reality is just a bigger, fancier way of saying, don't be too hard, but yet don't be too soft.
To go back to what you said, like, we pop off, yes. I think Gen Z, millennials, this, that, and the other.
There's a time for that, right?
We pop off. I think because again, back then, news didn't get around as quick. And so Twitter wasn't available, this, that, and the other. So with social media, it's easier to see pop-offs rather than back then.
Things spread faster.
Because, like, back then, you would just handle it in your backyard with fist.
And it was good.
And
Pistols.
And I think when you pop off now, it's become such a, like, attention-seeking thing. Because then you have everybody who has their phones out recording it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but I think also the emotional unstableness comes from broken families.
Yeah.
As you know, over 50% of marriages fail.
Yeah.
And sometimes those people have kids, or even out of wedlock, those people have kids, and those homes are already broken. And me and you both know, coming from broken homes, how affected a child is by not either having two parents in the household, one walking out, and one not being there.
Yeah, you guys haven't heard our testimonies yet, and we'll get to that in a later podcast if you request it. Well, even if you don't request it, we're still going to do it. But yeah, we'll definitely get to that. Go on, Kyle.
You had to catch me in a mouthful of food, didn't you?
Just as you took a bite full of pizza. Oh. But I know we've gotten kind of off track with this, but I think this is still kind of spot on about what direction we want to take this going forward.
Well, I mean, it's all about, like, making God the focus.
Yeah, making God the focus, making Him the center.
Even if we seem to, like, get off topic, it all points back to Him. Because, like, even though me and you both have broken families, the way He's guided both of us through is amazing. Like, the story, so we go to these college ministry on Monday nights, and me and James both shared our testimony to start out with.
Yeah.
And so we both have kind of similar stories when it comes to not having two parents in the household. And so we went through, though they turn out to be very different, it's how God impacts us is almost the same. He comes and seeks us out where we are. I think that's, like, the biggest thing, that God comes out to seek you even though we didn't ask Him to. And that constant pursuit, I think, is something we get lost in as Christians. That no matter whether we've accepted Him or not, He's continuing to pursue us and wanting us to grow in Him. And I think we forget that a lot of times, especially when we get into these big sermons and preaching, that we pass over that God is continuing to pursue us. Mm-hmm. And that even when times seem dark or time seems light as ever, He's still right beside us and making sure that we follow Him in everything He's taught us.
All right, so this one's a little short, but
it doesn't have to be short.
I mean
we can keep going.
I mean,
like,
yeah, but
I'm
we can save material.
Like,
this is just like the opening pilot kind of episode,
so
like, we don't need too much. It's just so.
What you mean we don't need too much?
Okay.
You know, I can talk.
We can keep going.
I mean, we will. But the next one's got to be kind of funnier because this one was like a little bit serious.
Well, I mean, like, not all podcasts.
I mean,
are funny.
yeah.
Not all podcasts are gonna be serious.
I want that extra spice, like the sauce.
I know.
I want the sauce in the podcast.
But like, we're talking about, like, serious stuff here because, like, this comes down to your salvation. This comes down to your soul. If we get down to, like, the finite point of what we're talking about, it gets down to where's your soul going to be in eternity.
Kobe, what are you doing? Why are you leaning back? This man Kobe's about to fall asleep. No. Oh yeah, so
I'm here, guys. I'm here.
You guys who are with us, right? We don't really have an official name for you guys, but I kind of like the name Dream Team. So if you guys are with it, I mean, we're down. You're with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dream
yeah.
I'm with it, bro.
I'm
so serious. Like,
sounds
I really
lit.
think that's a good name.
Yeah, we got big things planned for 2020. Well, not we do. God has big things planned for 2020, and you know it's not us. I mean, it kind of is. We're stepping out.
We're His vessels.
Yeah, we're not trying to, like, put ourselves at the forefront. We're really trying to put God at the forefront. So if you see us, you know, on social media posting things, I mean, obviously you're gonna look at us because, you know, we're talking and doing these things. But just know who it's all for, who we all do it for. So yeah, like I said, we have no dream but the one dream, praise the one King. It's really.
I think that's a big thing we get lost in is we forget sometimes our purpose of what we're supposed to be doing. And that's living out the gospel and being the action life. Bro, that sucks.
I just dropped pizza sauce all over.
No, you didn't drop it, bro. That came out.
Look it up.
That was like a zit just popping on your hand.
Stop describing it. You disgusting.
Anyway, bro. Now nobody's gonna
just
eat
look
pizza
it up.
ever again.
I'm gonna eat.
Hey, that was pretty good.
Don't discourage me.
But
we know it doesn't go. You don't.
But
Yeah.
like going back to what I was saying, like I think we get lost in the fact that we lose our purpose.
Yeah.
I think because sometimes you go so long, and you get lost of who am I doing this for again, and so your purpose is like I'm doing this for God to bring Him glory to His kingdom and to bring people in. Because, like, as Christians, we're all given the Great Commission, which is to go out and make disciples of all nations. You'll hear that over and over and over and over. But to actually do that, we're going through a Bible study with our college ministry.
Yeah.
And in our sermon series at church.
Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Not Mr. Chris and Miss Stephanie.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Pastor Joe.
Mm-hmm. And so, our leading pastor, Jacob, our sermon series is Year One. Yeah.
Yeah, year one. Yeah.
And it's about going out and finding that one person you need to bring to Christ, or
two, or three,
or two or three, or
we're
just
starting with one.
Start with one.
or just even talk to him in general. And though I feel like it's important to go out and make disciples, it exists in the Bible and everything. Starting from the inside is so important too.
Yeah.
Like your mom was saying the other day that like
Don't talk about my mom.
this is important. 'Cause she said it.
I guess it is.
I'm not gonna quote the
Jay.
wrong person and like
Jay.
take credit or like.
Come here, Jay. Yeah, my mom calls me Jay. Or Jay, man. My real name is James Lingard, if you guys didn't know. Add me on Snap, Insta, all that. You know.
You didn't even tag yourself. You just said
Oh.
James Lingard, and they're gonna
Yeah,
find you that way.
I really didn't.
And so like to go back to what your mom said the other day was like, make sure you go. Oh my gosh!
He just shot this rubber band thing.
But to like make sure you find inside the church who isn't a Christian. I think that's real important because if you don't start with your own body,
Yeah.
in your own congregation, it's hard to go out and make new ones. And then those new ones who come in, who don't know any better, they're like, what's the difference between these guys who call themselves Christians, who go to church, who are already here before me, but they don't act it out. And so you get that bad impression, that bad mold for the new ones that come in.
Yeah, and there's lots of different ways you can do that. Like I play soccer. I'm cold in Smash Bros Ultimate on Nintendo Switch. So
You're such a nerd.
if
bro.
anybody wants to
You're
try me,
such a
I play
nerd.
Kirby, Mega
And he's a
Man.
weeb.
He's alright.
If anybody,
And he's a weeb.
if anybody wants to try me in Smash
Don't try my
Bros,
Palatino.
y'all.
I'm not gonna brag because I suck at
If
it.
anybody wants to try me in
I'm
Smash
big
Bros,
suck.
it's easy raps.
I big suck, bro.
But yeah, that's just another way you can reach people. Just find whatever you're good at that God's blessed you with and use it to reach people.
I mean,
So,
like, I think we passed it up.
Kyle.
What?
I said we were ending this like 3 minutes ago.
Hey,
See,
no.
we're still
No.
going, bro.
Closing statement.
No,
Closing
there
There
statement.
is no closing statement.
From each of you. What do you have to say, Kyle?
I mean, we all have our gifts and abilities, and to use that to our greatest advantage for Christ, I think. Again, it's like things that should be common knowledge, but it gets passed over because it's common knowledge. And like FCA is like such a big, important like organization that's inside the high schools now that you invest into, because Fellowship of Christian Athletes, you're taking people who are good at sports, but you're investing in the gospel as much as you can. Especially from outside sources. Me and James both know, being leaders of FCA, you get to do these.
Interesting thing about that, I technically wasn't a leader.
Yes, you were.
Mm.
Because you didn't fill out an application, did you?
No, but there's a captain or a co-captain, and I didn't show up till senior year.
So?
I was like a secret.
You were a
I was like a
recruiter.
shadow captain.
You weren't a shadow captain.
I was like
You
a
were-
shadow captain.
You were
a
labeled as a
secret
recruiter.
captain. I had a label.
Yeah. You
You're
were
just
a
calling me
recruiter.
things without my knowledge.
No, I mean, that's what everyone knew what you were, except for you, apparently. But, going back to what I said,
Story of my life.
I think we pass over like the important traits that we all have and the gifts we all have. But I also think it's hard to find out what those gifts are, especially as you're either growing in Christ or learning in Christ. Because like we all have that big question: what are my gifts? What are my talents? And so sometimes you get lost in that. I need you to stop. You are so distracting.
That's another
Oh
This man's
my
playing with his
God.
shoe. You guys can't see it, but it's really
What are your
distracting.
challenges? So
What are your
guys, I
challenges?
think for me,
All right, Kobe, closing
What are your
remarks.
challenges?
Yeah,
Your
closing
broken
remarks.
shoe is a challenge. You need to get that thing
I think a
fixed.
closing remark for me is
Hashtag kicks for
Hey,
Kobe.
I'm trying to talk.
Let's get this man Kobe some new kicks.
I have new kicks. These are my play shoes.
We were playing basketball earlier.
He keeps calling them play shoes.
Because we were playing basketball earlier.
Kobe, we're 18. We don't play.
I'm
What do you want me to
19,
say?
bro.
Gaming shoes?
No, just say these are my shoes.
Athletic shoes.
Like we don't have.
I don't care.
We don't have play
See,
shoes.
this goes along with my point.
What is your point?
This is my point. My
Make
closing
your
statement.
closing statement.
See, something I struggle with, like, you know, even if you are a Christian, it can be easy for you to be jealous about what other Christians are talented in.
Mm-hmm.
So just walk your walk with God.
I mean, I
and
think
just stay in the word. Hey, this is my point.
no. But I'm gonna let you talk.
We
Did I
can't
interrupt
interrupt.
you?
We can't interrupt
Did
his
I
closing
interrupt you?
remarks.
No.
All right, Kobe.
I mean,
Proceed.
You know, just stay in the word and don't worry about what other people are doing or what like if you see somebody doing something that you think you want to do too, just trust in God and He'll provide your way.
real quick, Chase. Before
There's my closing remarks.
to go along with Kobe, like you being like not that old as a Christian. How do you take the perspective? And, like, can you give us some insight on like what it's like to look at other people who don't have the same talents as you, or that you see have?
Wait, what do you mean?
So like, say take James for instance, right?
I'm jail.
Do you like
Call me jail.
do you like public speaking?
Say
as
my
much as
name,
he
Kyle.
does?
Kyle,
Do
say
I?
my name.
Yeah. Do you like
Say my
do you
name.
do you think James is very talented at public speaking?
Yeah, he's really good.
Call
Do
me
you feel like
jail.
you're talented at public speaking?
I don't know what I'm good at.
Guys in
And so,
public,
like-
call me jail.
Going along with what you were saying, like, what thought process do you go through when like you kind of have that where you don't really know what your talents are, but
Just the thing with me, like I like being good at everything. That's just one of my problems. Like when I see somebody who's better than me at anything, I want to be good. I want to be better than them at it. So that's just something I struggle with. I try to be good at too many things. So just try to, I don't know, just don't worry about being good at everything.
Is it my turn? Is it my
well,
turn?
I mean, if you wanted to be your turn, but I mean, me and Kobe, I feel like are down to like go for another 30 minutes.
I mean, we can. After I
mean-
say my closing remarks, and then we really won't close.
And I wouldn't say I'm like a new Christian because you know I've been going to church since I was like really younger. I guess like I'm trying to be my own Christian now. I guess
Yeah.
trying to find my own way.
Make it your own.
You know, but I've definitely known Christ and followed Him since I was really little.
Yeah.
I didn't know that did that.
Alright, guys.
I like clips like that.
Guys, I listen to your closing remarks. Listen to mine.
You're so whiny sometimes, bro.
Damn. Alright, guys, let me put on my awesome voice.
Awesome voice.
What's up, y'all? No Dream
Morning-
Jail.
the morning voice. The deep one.
Yeah.
Hit him with the band as he's talking.
Yeah.
But he can't hold it.
Oh.
Guys, yeah, No Dream Jail.
No Dream Jail.
No Dream Jail.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
I sound cool?
No.
Let me know if I sound cool, guys.
You sounded so. Like,
Hit me up
needy.
if I sound cool.
You sounded so needy. Let me know if
I really want to sound cool. But anyway,
Testing. Testing.
cause these are my closing. Let me close
Y'all
out.
interrupted me.
Kyle interrupt. I mean, you've
Why are you leaning in?
you've
Do your
interrupted
thing.
you.
All right,
I'm leaning over to you
Why are you leaning over, bro?
because I want to.
You must want to
I'm
kiss him.
leaning.
go. All right, go ahead.
Alright, no dream, no homo. We're not into that, okay? No dream, no homo.
You know what I have to say?
No part.
Sit
Don't
down.
do it.
We'll
No
take a
part.
biblical
You're
stance.
about to
Wow,
fart.
the maturity level in this place is amazing. Like it's just sky high.
None of our brains have fully developed. So
My
it's
brain
like-
has been fully developed
No,
since I was 3.
the
I was,
brain
Until
is-
25.
I was
Not
walking
until 25.
ever
That's
since
my boy.
age 2. I was walking around like Megamind. My brain was huge. But
So you were big headed.
yes, I've always had a big forehead. It's been to contain my brain.
So it's not a 4-head, then it's a 5-head.
No, it's more like a 3-head.
That means you don't have a. Do you know what the word 4-head means?
Yes, you can put 4 fingers. And guys, we're getting sidetracked. Okay.
You're getting excited.
Back
Like,
to-
me and Kobe are on the same
Back
track.
to my points. You love to see it.
Bro, that was cringe. I'm not gonna
It
lie.
was.
That
I had
was
the
big
wet floor sign, catch me slipping. Had the mop sign, slip on it, flip it.
Yeah, I always say something before I leave, and I say that usually, and Kobe just mixed all the words up
I
together.
can't remember what you be saying. You be saying that junk quick.
But
But what?
That's our closing remarks. for
no,
every
that's
podcast.
not. No, we can't use that.
Yeah.
It's copyrighted. Somebody already said so. Yeah. But anyway, back to what I was saying before. At the very
Bottle
beginning. Right?
flip.
No, I feel like we could close this out by saying the very same thing that we said at the beginning. You know, we could really change the world. We could really have an impact on those around us if we take this thing slightly seriously.
What do you mean slightly seriously? We take it seriously.
As serious as we can possibly take it. Like we're charged with going and taking.
On the crust? Eat the crust. Your mom know you. She'd be upset at you.
We're charged with going and taking the good news of Jesus Christ to the ends of the earth, right? And that involves reaching people and touching people. So that's really all we're trying to do. We're nobody special. We're just trying to be used, doing our best, trying to be used by God. So I don't know about Kobe and Kyle, but if any of you guys are going through anything or want to talk about anything, or if you're not saved, come and talk to me. If you see me in public, don't be afraid to walk up to me and hit me up, because
reach out. I think reaching out is something that is again not preached enough.
We tend to hold things in, especially guys, but
Bro,
and girls too.
That's another talk for another day.
Yeah, that's for another day.
We could get into that really bad about how guys just kind of build up everything, whether it's anger, it's emotion, whether it's sadness, whether it's happiness. I feel like guys tend to hold in a lot of things. But again, that's a talk for another time.
Yeah, we have a lot of pride. Yeah.
We do have a lot of pride.
I don't.
Yes, you do. That's a big lie. He's talking about, I'm the biggest man.
See, some of our... But that's not pride. That's the truth.
The whole face.
I'm good at pride.
Okay. You're good at pride.
I mean, smash. See, you guys are confusing my words. You guys are confusing my words.
On water.
But yeah, some what do you say?
He's trying to copy the little fairy thing.
But yeah, we're gonna be talking about going into the mind of the average guy our age. So some of you female listeners, the average guy. So some of you female listeners might want to tune into that. Might want to listen to that.
Yeah, everybody's perspective is different.
Of course. But we
want to hear my perspective.
yeah. I don't know. That's kind of scary. But anyway, no, it's not. How do we end this?
We keep talking. This is how we end it.
This is how we end it.
How long is it?
All right.
It
doesn't matter.
It's like a bit.
Let's what? I feel like this is a good stopping point before we start our new one, because this is the first one we're posting, but there's definitely gonna be more after this.
Obviously, by the time y'all get it, it's gonna be way later because we're still trying to figure out how to actually post it.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a little bit later, but I'm looking to kind of record these in advance, so then we can have like a release schedule of when we'll release them. And it'll be way easier. I want to do more interesting things, like not just biblical talks like this, but I want to have I was thinking about having Freestyle Friday, where we just get in my car, play a beat, and we just freestyle.
I'm the only one who does not have freestyle.
Well, all of us are terrible freestylers. I'm a rapper, but I write. I don't really freestyle, so it doesn't really matter.
I rank myself D tier, which is
they don't know what that.
No. So
go
there's
home,
smash.
Yeah.
There's A, B, C, D. I'm bottom of D. And so James is top of C.
Nobody understands what you're saying, Kyle.
Kobe.
That's nerd talk. All right. So
I don't know where Steven said.
Wrapping this up. Go out.
What's that, bro?
Like I said.
Vaseline?
Yes, there's Vaseline on my counter. If you guys don't know, I'm a dark boy. Okay, I need my Vaseline for my soft skin.
Bro, is that what that is?
Let go of my Vaseline.
That's why your hands are so greasy.
My hands are not. Alright.
It'd be like.
Anyway, guys, share this podcast, spread it. We really want to get this thing going. Who knows?
I mean,
Kyle, let me. Every single time I try to say it, No,
we're ending it.
Let me speak.
You have to tell them our schedule. Our schedule is going to be weekly.
All right. Yeah, it's going to be a weekly schedule. With
clips in between.
No. Yeah, we're gonna have stuff in between to hold you guys over.
Bro, that's hard. Daily podcast. That's hard.
You're like a little kid. You're getting. Dang, not even forget. Like I was saying before, we can take this as far as with God. Not even the sky's the limit. No, not yet.
Past the stars.
We're going past the moon. Yeah, exactly. Past the stars.
So infinity and beyond.
Yeah, so
we're going Buzz Lightyear out here.
I don't. That's kind of weird. Weird flex.
Sir?
They're playing with my flesh.
Infinity and beyond.
Sir, I'm gonna need you to open up the door. Sir.
Kyle, stop. I'm trying to close.
Isn't that
we can take we can take this as seriously as we need to. but
Take it seriously.
as we need to. But you never know what God can do with you unless you step out. So, share this, and go and spread the love of Christ and positivity wherever you go. No Dream Jail, signing out. Dreamers, go do what God has called you to do.
You're not going to let the rest of us sign out?
I'm going to let you guys sign out.
But
I'm addressing them, though.
No Dream Kobe signing
Guys,
in. Nice.
imagine that I'm looking at you guys. All right. Take a deep breath and listen. It is. I want this moment to be intimate. You guys can change the world. The world, though. You guys can change the world, like, for real. I mean, if everybody does their part, and I know that sounds kind of cliche because that's what we're told as kids, but
It's the Roaring 20s.
yeah, no, it's not. Oh, technically it's 2020. It's the Roaring 20s.
I got that from Passion.
Yeah, I know you did. But growing up, we're always taught that
This is our
we're special.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're always taught that we're special, we can make a difference. And then I found out after I graduated high school that going into the world would do its very, very best to kind of beat that out of you and tell you you're not special, you're just like everybody else. But each of us has been given a purpose and a calling in our lives. So go out and do what you do. Dream big, but don't just dream, accomplish it. And don't just make those dreams like goals for you to accomplish, but like, guys, I'm literally... I'm trying to be serious. But for real, don't make these goals just things for you to accomplish. Like, it's... Can you hear them laughing? Can you hear them laughing? I don't even know why they're laughing. You guys are... This man Kobe said, "Dream big, princess." Alright.
That was funny.
Y'all are stupid. You know what? Dream team. Go out, do what y'all do.
Yeah.
Kyle.
No Dream you out.
To infinity and beyond. It's good.
That can't be your catchphrase. It's copyrighted. I don't want you to see that. Are you gonna sign up?
Oh yeah, signing out. Alright guys.
Yep, No Dream Jail. Signing out. See y'all.
I'm gonna do it like this. Hi guys, NoDreamNation.
No.
Thank you guys so much for listening to the end of our podcast. We are happy to report we got all new equipment. Stay tuned for updates on our Instagrams. Links will be in the description below. We are so excited for what God's gonna do. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit those bell notifications.
Get away from the mic. Alright guys, but for real though, we got no dream but the one dream to praise the one king. No Dream out.